Today, on Be Something Wonderful, when I stopped thinking of him, he couldn't stop thinking of me. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big session. I want to talk about a session that I had yesterday. This is a client that I talk to now and then. This is regarding a specific person or an SP, but we've talked about many things, and it's all related, right? Reality creation is reality creation. And in this case, when we had talked in earlier sessions, this is the same story. I hear this story a lot. This is what she said. I manifested him back twice, but it's the same pattern. I hear this a lot, right? This is what she was talking about in our first sessions. He doesn't put me first. I'm not a priority. He doesn't think of me, right? And so as she was imagining and affirming, she was trying to affirm, she was thinking of him, thinking of her. Do you hear this? Thinking of him, imagining him, affirming him, how he thinks of her. Right? In other words, she's trying to change this old script, this old reality. She's trying to influence him. We got this, she had questions on this whole idea of thought transmission that Neville Goddard talks about. And I'm going to hit that today. But this whole idea that she's trying to influence him or influence his thoughts, right? Transmit thoughts to him and change him. And this is why, remember what Nikola Tesla says. If you want to learn the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. We're going to hit this in a few minutes. But remember, everything is frequency, energy, and vibration in that beingness that we are. This is the 10,000 forms that the ancients talk about. There are many forms. So you're manifesting him back because you're trying to influence that old script. You're trying to get him to think a certain way of you. It's not about him. So he doesn't put you first. I'm not a priority. He doesn't think of me because you're not putting you first. You're not making your I am the priority, right? It's not about sending thoughts of love. It's being that love. Do you see it? Because remember, thoughts don't go anywhere. Everything is all connected. Everything is one thought, one mind. Within that one thought, that one mind, are billions of thoughts and billions of points of consciousness or billions of minds, but there's only one divine mind. There's only one energy. And we're not talking about solipsism. We'll talk about that in a minute, where solipsism means the people who believe in that believe they're the only mind. It's only their mind, their finite mind, that's the only reality. We're going to hit this. All this conversation came up in a session with her, right? And so we had talked about stop trying to think of him, imagine, affirm, thinking of you, putting you first. Instead, put your I am first. I've talked about this over the last few days. Make I am a priority. Make I am that which you desire to be, right? I am that which I desire to be, your only story in reality. I am that which I desire to be. I am that new story. That's my only story, my only reality. And that reality is everything, everywhere, right now, all at once. When you do that, when you put your story, who you are, make yourself a priority, make your I am a priority, make the love that you are a priority, you make that your only story, then that reality is everywhere, everything all at once. You're not sending thoughts. The thoughts are everywhere all at once when you think them. And we all share in that same thought, those same thoughts and that same energy. So it can be no other way. That's what everyone is you pushed out means. Your assumptions, your thoughts are everywhere all at once. Do you see it? So it's not really, believing that you send thoughts and transmit them is believing that there's somehow separation between your thoughts and others, between who you are and who others are. There's no separation. I want to really hit this, right? So this is what quote, the adjustment that she made. She focused on I am. Now she's saying that he doesn't stop thinking about her. In other words, he's calling her, he's texting her, he even sent her flowers, right? Which he never does. So this is This is because she's putting I am first. She's putting I am on a pedestal. She's not putting him on a pedestal. There's only one mind. So, I hit this quote, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. This is true, but remember the levels of creation. The highest level is the absolute, all that is, the great I am. It's the one source and one energy, the one vibration of love, absolute love, right? It doesn't move, it doesn't change, right? It's such a high vibration, it doesn't even move, right? When something vibrates so fast, it looks like it's standing still. That's God, that's love, it never moves. Then there's, if you want to think of it, the first manifestation of that love, of that absoluteness. That's the I am awareness, that's consciousness, that's where all potential exists. That's where all forms exist. That's the divine mind. Think of that as the first manifestation. The divine mind, that's where all thought exists. Not just your thoughts and others' thoughts, but all thoughts, because they're all connected. There's only all thought, right? So you're thinking into that one mind. You're not sending it anywhere. There's nowhere to go. There's only here and there's only now, right? And so, and then there's that first sort of I am, that first identity. I am Tom, or I am this, or I am that. That's your identity. And then you have some core assumptions about that identity. We hit levels of creation. And I'm actually doing new playlists on the channel, so you can check them out, right? And I did one on faith last night. I'll do one also on levels of creation. There's going to be more. We're really cleaning that up on the playlists on the channel. So in him we live and we move and we have our being. In him, in what? In that absoluteness, in that all that isness, in that great I am, in that one energy, in that one source. We have our beingness, our awareness, our consciousness. I am a soul. I am a unique point of consciousness in that divine mind, right? In all that is. And then you identify as something in that consciousness. All of this is that one source, that one vibration, that one love. In here are a variety of vibration, energy, and frequencies, depending on how you identify yourself, who you're conscious of being. So focus on you. Put your I am on a pedestal, and everything else will be added on to you. So let's kind of unpack this like we never have before. And you know we will. So she says, when I stopped thinking about him, he couldn't stop thinking about me. She's getting flowers, she's getting texts, he's always thinking about her, right? In other words, when she stopped trying to influence him, when she stopped trying to send thoughts and influence that old script or that old reality, trying to change him, trying to change the script, it just kept her tied to a script that she wanted to change, wanted him to be different, wanted him to think of her as a priority. That all kept her focused on the script or the version of him where he doesn't treat her as a priority, where he's not thinking about her all the time. Do you see it? Remember, it's not really about thought transmission. It's about moving to that unity, that where all thought is. All thoughts are connected. It's not about ignoring him, right? It's knowing that you're all one. There's only one mind. There's no space, there's no time, there's only now. Thought transmission assumes separation, that you have to send your thoughts somewhere. It doesn't go anywhere. You're not sending thoughts anywhere. You're sharing, hear this, you're sharing in all thought. That's what makes it powerful when you think wonderful thoughts of another. Because all those thoughts are everywhere all at once. You bend time and space when you're thinking those great thoughts, right? You bend time and space according to building your ideal reality, right? So it's not solipsism that assumes your mind is the only mind and that all that exists is within your mind. That's different. Right? Where's that non-duality is saying, or non-duality, or that oneness with God, or what the absoluteness that we're talking about, is saying there's only one consciousness, that divine mind, that all-knowing mind, within which there are infinite points of consciousness. You, me, and everybody else. Your mind, his mind, other minds. So there's only one mind, but within that mind are infinite points of consciousness, infinite minds if you want to think of it that way, right? But all of it shares the same thoughts, the same mind, the same energy, right? So it's not solipsism. We debunk that. That assumes your mind's the only mind, that your finite mind, your thoughts, sensations, and perceptions are the only thoughts, sensations, perceptions. And that finite mind is all that exists. No, your mind exists within that divine mind. It's part of all that is. I don't want to go too heavy in that. We can hit that some other time. Right? God, remember, God, infinity, divine mind, only sees unity. That's the difference. Right? That divine mind only sees unity, doesn't see the billions of other minds within it. Doesn't see the billions of different vibrations and frequencies. It only sees itself as unity, wholeness, love, right? And we're the ones that see that separation, see those differences, right? So it's God, infinity, divine mind. It only sees unity. All thought, all perceptions, all sensations come from the same source, right? Remember, that's different because she brought that question up. What's the difference then between solipsism and this idea of non-duality or that one mind? That's the difference. Solipsism means you think your finite mind, your finite thoughts, perceptions, and sensations are the only ones, and there's nothing else. Everybody else are like they're illusions or cardboard cutouts, right? I think that was one great non-dualistic teacher said that. I thought that was great. Remember what Ernest Holmes says, there's one infinite spirit. Every time man says I am, he proclaims it. There is one infinite substance. Every time man moves, he moves in it. There's one infinite law, and every time man thinks, he sets it in motion. This is one infinite God, and every time man speaks to this God, he receives a direct answer. One. I am God, and there is no one else. There's one limitless life which returns to the thinker what he thinks into it. One. And in all, over all, and through all. I love that. Science of the mind. In other words, you're not sending your thoughts anywhere. You're sharing in that divine mind. So who and what you're conscious of being, what you assume about yourself and your relationship to the world, is what you create and see and perceive around you. You see that version of him. That is that version of you that you're assuming of yourself. So put your I am first. Put your I am on a pedestal. Not him, not something outside of you. Right? So I am God, the Lord, the law, and there is no other. Because God, infinity, the divine mind, universal mind is one. It's infinite and it's limitless. Wherever it is at all, the whole of it must be. This comes from the Edinburgh lectures, right? Thomas Troward. That wherever that divine mind, wherever God is at all, the whole of God must be. It's infinity, it's limitless. That's why it's I am God in the Lord or the law, and there is no other. There is no other. Right? God, the divine mind, infinity, is everywhere in its entirety all at once. That's what omnipresence means. So if that's true, if this energy that we are is omnipresent, this all-knowing, then you're not sending thought anywhere. It's everywhere all at once. As soon as you think something, it's everywhere all at once. It doesn't go anywhere. The whole of spirit must be present at every point in space at the same moment. Spirit is thus omnipresent in its entirety, and it is accordingly logically correct that at every moment of time, all spirit is concentrated at the point in space that we may choose to fix our thoughts upon. So whatever you're fixing your thoughts upon, all of God exists, all of that energy, all of that knowing, including every other possibility that exists in reality. Do you see it? So that's why. So when you're trying to thinking of him, thinking of you, you're creating that unwanted reality, right? You're creating that reality that you don't want. Instead, put your I am on a pedestal. Decide who you are, and that thought is everywhere all at once. Then you must see that version of him. So this is the parallel reality, the lifeline of the film roll, the script, right? And here she was. When she was, he's not thinking of me. He's not interested. He's not interested. He's not making me a priority. He's not putting me first. That was the past. In the present, she was thinking of him, thinking of me. She was trying to get him to treat her differently, right? This past was brought forward to the present. She was thinking of him, thinking of me. Thinking of him, thinking of me. Imagining him calling her and thinking of her. But what happened? It just kept her tied to that same script where he's not thinking of her, where he's not making her a priority. That same reality. She was being conscious of being that same person who's not a priority, who's not worthy, who's not deserving, who doesn't put herself first. And so that's what she continued to see. She was trying to transmit thought. She was trying to influence him in the current unwanted script to think and be different. She was trying to transmit thought to him, this version of reality, trying to change it, right? As opposed to going within. It assumes and moves through time and space, right? So I am not that. That's what she was really saying as she was trying to transmit thought, trying to influence him, right? Trying to thinking of him, thinking of me, or thinking of her. Imagining that, she was keeping that current unwanted script alive, right? Saying that I am not that, right? Your desire and intention to change him, influence him in the current script keeps your old script or moving to really similar scripts. You're never really in the same reality. But you move to similar realities where he's not thinking of you, where he's not putting you as a priority, right? And so, but then you go, well, what happens though? I manifest them back. You do manifest them back because you're on that same energy. You're on that same frequency. You're on that same vibration that you're together, but he's not putting you first. So it goes, so he's hot and cold. It looks like he's putting you first. You're sending those thoughts out there, right? But you're not sending them. You're just thinking of him, thinking of you, right? All thought exists. So you do line up or align with that reality where he's back. But he's not back, but he's back in that same script, that same reality, inevitably, right? That's what happens, right? So you call it the hot and cold pattern, but there's no pattern. It's just who and what are you conscious of being? You're putting him on a pedestal. You're putting his thoughts of you on a pedestal. Instead, put your I am on a pedestal. Put your thoughts of yourself on a pedestal, right? That when you do that, everything falls in place. Be the version of yourself where he and everyone else can't help but be thinking of you and be interested in you. Be that version. Right? Remember that when you occupy that state's everywhere all at once. You must see the versions of others in him according to the version you're being. Right? It's about you thinking from your wish already fulfilled, as Neville Goddard says. Right? When you do, that thought, or in other words, who and what you're conscious of being is everywhere and everything all at once. Thought is everywhere and everything all at once. Who and what you're conscious of being is everywhere and everything all at once. It's all connected to that same mind, to that same love, right? There's no one to change but self. That self is simply your awareness, your consciousness in the world in which it lives is determined by the concept you hold of yourself. It is to your consciousness that we must turn as to the only reality. It is to consciousness we must turn to as the only reality. It's the only reality. And it's all connected, it's all one. So it's not even about changing yourself. It's about assuming, deciding, choosing who you're going to be. Putting self on a pedestal, right? So it's not about changing others. It's not about influence others. It's not really even about changing yourself. Your self-concept doesn't need any improvement. It's about choosing who and what you want to be, who and what you want to be conscious of being, right? It's about choosing your assumptions about yourself and your relationship to the world. Put I am first. Put I am on a pedestal. There's nothing and nobody and no one more interested and loved than I am. Do you hear this? There's no one more interesting. There's nobody, no one more interesting. No thing, no body, no one more interesting, more interested in love than I am. Right? When you do that, do you see that? There you are in the present slide. When you put yourself on a pedestal, that reality of you and him together in that version that you want, with him interested, with you together, with you in love, that is an immediate reality because those thoughts are everywhere all at once. You're not sending them anywhere. That reality exists now. It's the only reality. And then that past, you change the past. He's always been thinking of me. He's interested in me. He's always been with me. It's always been me. It's always been me, right? He's always been thinking of me, interested in me. It's always been me. That past changes. You change everything. You change all time with that, with putting I am on a pedestal. We're putting that beingness on a pedestal, not anybody else outside of you. Stop resisting. Stop trying to think or not think of him. Right? You're trying to control your thoughts. You're trying to flip your thoughts. You're trying to flip your feelings. You're trying to manipulate reality, manipulate inner conditions of thoughts and feelings, or manipulate outer conditions of people, events, and circumstances and influence them. You're trying to influence your thoughts and feelings. You're trying to influence the outer conditions. Stop trying to flip and control and influence all that. Just allow it all to be okay. Don't do anything with those unwanted thoughts or those unwanted feelings or those unwanted conditions. Allow them to be okay. Allow them to just be there. All thought, all feelings, all conditions, all emotion is source. It exists everywhere all at once. It's everywhere all at once anyway. Put I am. Hold on to nothing, but I am that which I desire to be. Hold on to that. If you're going to hold on to anything, hold on to the thought, I am that which I desire to be. But you don't even have to hold on to that, because you are that already. Do you get it? So the real thing is you don't have to hold that. You don't even have to hold on to the idea that I am that version of me that I desire to be already, because you are that version. So there's nothing to hold on to. Your source. Why would source need to hold on to anything? Put yourself first. Put I am on a pedestal, and the entire world must rearrange itself and mirror who and what you're conscious of being. That's what everyone in you is you pushed out really means. So you're not sending thoughts, you're not influencing people, you're not influencing circumstances. You're deciding who and what you are being. And that creates those circumstances. That creates those versions of others that you want to see. Do you see it? You're going to vibe, you're going to resonate, correspond with versions of them that correspond with the version of that you are being. That's what vibration and law of correspondence, law of vibration, law of frequency, law of cause and effect, what all those universal laws mean. They all come from the absolute law of the law of being, the law of I am. The only law there is. All those other laws, those universal laws, come from that. Are manifestations of the great law of being. Who and what you are being. Put yourself first. Put I am on a pedestal. That's what she did. Now, of course, she stopped trying to think of him, thinking of her. And she just put I am on a pedestal. Decide who she's going to be. She's going to be the person where him and everyone else is interested in her. Because she's interested in her. She's putting herself first. She's putting I am on a pedestal. And therefore, that must be the only reality. And that is now her only reality. When I stopped thinking of him, he couldn't stop thinking of me. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being a part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining our Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and our membership channel. There's a link below where there's unique content, ad-free, so the videos run continuous. And we also have live streams on there. We're going to have I think it's our 5th live stream, if I'm not mistaken. Our 5th live stream is coming up. And it'll be our 4th on the membership channel. That will be coming up. I'll be announcing that. That will be exclusively on the membership channel. If you want to join. If you've joined, thank you. If you haven't, join us. Why not? Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin with Be Something Wonderful here in Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon.